Hey, the perfect tutor, Mr. Gilbert CJ here. We are looking at a very interesting topic in civic education, and that is economic and social development. Economic and social development. The subtopics that we're going to look at are economic and social development, human needs and wants, factors of production, efficiency of labor, and capital accumulation. These are the things that we're going to look at in our video. Good. So we start. What is development? Development is simply the improvement to meet people's needs at all levels. Improvement. So I'll give you two practical examples here. Then I want you to identify which one is development. Which one is development? The first one here. Renovating a road from Lusaka to Kafue. Renovating a road from Lusaka to Kafue. The second example is here. Building a new health facility. Building a new health facility. What do you think? Which one is development? Which one can we call development? Renovating a road, building a new health facility. Okay, so development is this one. Building a new healthy facility. What am I trying to say here? You need to differentiate these two words, development and change. This is not development, but it is change. Change, you're just changing the standard of the road. It is already there. How can you call that development? So, for you to call something as development, you need to see new thing existing. A new thing existing. So, for this one, building a new health facility, which was not there. This is what? Development. This can only be development if at all you construct a new road. For example, in the bush where there is no road, you construct a road there. That is called what? Development. I think you now know what development is. I think you have an idea of what development is. Now, we are saying economic development. Hence, we need to know the meaning of this word, economy. What comes into your mind when you hear the word economy? So economy is any action. This refers to any action that has to do with the production of goods and services. That has to do with the production of goods and services. That is referred to as economy. Now, then what is economic development? Economic development. We can define economic development as the improvement in the provision of goods and services in order to satisfy human beings, or improving the quality of human life. That is in a nutshell. That is the definition of what? Economic development. These are some of the examples of economic development. Improvement in the provision of goods and services in order to satisfy human beings. Building a new health facility, that is called development, economic development specifically. Constructing a new road, opening a new mine, building a new university, etc., etc. These are the things we can refer to as development. So, having known what economic development is, there is one important thing that you need to know about this thing called economic development. What's that? It is related to economic growth. Economic development is closely related to economic growth. Now, what is economic growth? This is simply an increase in the country's productive capacity. Increase in the country's productive what? capacity. So, for the country to achieve economic development, it needs to achieve economic growth. It needs to increase in its productive capacity so as to achieve economic development. Now, how can a country achieve economic growth so that at the end it will achieve economic development? These are some of the things that you need to do as a country. Expansion of agriculture by producing surplus products for sale. Don't just farm the crops, the products just for consumption. No. You expand. You leave surplus for sale so that the country will be exporting commodities like maize, soya beans, and other things to other countries. And that is increasing the country's productive capacity. Hence, you are bringing about economic development. Simple. 2, expansion of manufacturing industries. This is straightforward, so that we may tend to produce more things, more products as a country. That is increasing the country's productive capacity. Research on new technologies, so that you may start manufacturing things which are unique. These are the things which can lead to the country achieving economic growth. And at the end of the day, it will achieve a very important thing known as economic development. Very good. Very good, very good, very good. So we proceed. We have talked about economic development, but our topic is saying economic and social development. Hence, we are still remaining with one thing here: social development. What is social development? This is simply the improvement in the standards of living of people. For economic development, we are dealing with provision of goods and services. Make sure you differentiate the two. For economic development, we are dealing with provision of goods and services. For this one, we are talking about improving the standards of living of people. It covers a lot of things, which includes human rights. Are people having access to human rights? Are they enjoying their claims and freedoms in the country? That is social development. Access to basic needs. Good governance. This is referred to as social development. There is this theme here. It is coming as a result of this point here: access to basic needs. Poverty is the condition of lacking basic needs. That is poverty. That is poverty. Not where you have food, you have clothes, you have water, you even have a very nice house. Then you're saying, no, poverty. That's not poverty. Poverty is the condition of lacking basic needs. You don't have food, water, shelter, and clothes. These are basic needs. So when you lack these, then you are poor. That's poverty. I think you've now understood this point here. Let us talk about these two things now. Let us differentiate them. Human needs, human wants. Are they the same or they are different? People tend to confuse them. Needs are things that you cannot live without. Things that you require in order for you to survive. Examples as stipulated above here: food, shelter, clothing, water, and medical care. These things are referred to as needs. Needs. You need them. You don't want them. To need and to want, they are two different things. So you need these things because without them, you cannot survive. Can you survive without food? For how long? Okay, human wants. Human wants are luxury things which humans can survive without. You can survive without them, but you just want them. For example, vehicle, motor vehicle. Can't you live without a vehicle? Kenda chena mendo waenda kwasili. Alcohol mama mwamo bapa, they may say it's a basic need. Furniture, all these things are referred to as what? Human wants. I don't want to talk about alcohol na ende. People may say it's a want. Okay. Now, it was a commercial break. Human needs are classified into goods and services. They are classified into what? Goods and services. So let us talk about goods and services. What are goods? Goods are tangible things, tangible or physical items. This simply means things that you can see and touch. Those are what we call goods. E.g., food, clothes. You can see clothes, you can touch clothes. You can see food, you can touch food. Those are what we call what? Goods. Services are benefits which cannot be seen. Should be not here. Services are benefits which cannot be seen or touched. You cannot see them, cannot touch them. For example, health services. Can you touch a health service? Not a health facility, but a health service. Can you touch it? Education. Can you touch education? Interesting. You can't. So that is referred to as what? A service. Now, where do we get the goods from? Where do we get the services from? A process known as what? Production. Production is the provision of goods and services in order to satisfy human beings. Provision of goods and services. So, economic development, improvement in the provision of goods and services. You see, production is the provision of goods and services to satisfy human beings. But economic development is including a word, improvement. Improvement in the provision of goods and services. Good. So, there are necessary things which are needed for production to take place. We have things which are very important that are required for production to take place, for you to produce the goods and services. There are these things. We have land, labor, capital, and the recently discovered one, enterprise, though it is mostly discussed in commerce. Enterprise. Those are the 4 factors of production, things which are needed for production to occur. So let's start by discussing land. Land as a factor of production. What is land? When we talk about land as a factor of production, we're talking about all the natural resources found on earth. The resources made available by nature, which are only found on earth. We refer that to as what? Land. For example, agricultural areas, natural grasslands, deserts, oceans, lakes, mines. Those things are naturally found on earth. The minerals, you find those things on earth. So we refer that to as what? Land. So when you are talking about land as a fact of production, bear it in mind that we are not just talking about the soil. We are referring to all the natural resources which are found on earth, made available by nature. Are we together there? Then 2, we have labor. Labor are simply human efforts made in the production of goods and services. We're talking about factors of production here. So land, I've explained land. Now, can you produce goods without land? Where can you produce from? In the atmosphere? In the atmosphere, right? You can't produce goods without land. You need land. So land is a fact of what? Production. Labor, human efforts made in the production of goods and services. Can goods produce themselves? They can't. You need to put effort as what? As human beings. That is what we are referring to as what? Labor. That is what we are calling what? Labor. So now, we have what we call efficiency of labor, which is the utilization of labor or human efforts. Utilization of what? Labor. We'll discuss it, don't worry. Let me talk about this word here, productivity. This is how this topic is. Economic development, economic and social development. It has got different things. But at the end, they make up one complete thing. What we're talking about here is production. So productivity is the output per worker per unit of time. That is productivity. Now, I want us to talk about the factors which affect the efficiency of labor, the utilization of the human efforts. Utilization of human efforts. We have some factors which affect that. The first one is education and training. Education and training. A person who is educated and has sound technical training has more productive knowledge. This is straightforward, true. Person who is educated has that capacity of producing more goods because of the knowledge obtained from the institutions, the universities and everything. 2, working condition. Working condition. You must be working in a favorable environment. Well ventilated, cleaned, not working from a dirty place. No. That is not proper utilization of labor. You must be working from what? A favorable environment. Then we have welfare services. These are simply services provided to workers, e.g. medical care, transport, housing. All these things must be provided to you as a worker. That is proper utilization of labor. Then we have motivation. Motivation, these are simply incentives given to workers so as to stimulate them. For example, the best work. For example, even what we do at Knowledge World Academy, we award the best students. The best student will get this, and the top student. That will motivate you. I also work hard the next time so that I get that. You see? That is motivation. Proper utilization of labor. Now bring that to working. You are at a company. Now imagine, every month they give you incentives just to motivate you. Mr. Chivali, congratulations. Here is something. Next month, I'll work very hard. More than hard, in fact. More than hard. So, these are the things which affect the efficiency of labor if they are not in place. If you are not educated, if you are not working from a favorable condition, if welfare services are not provided to you, and if there is no motivation, efficiency of labor is affected. Are we together, dear students? Let me talk about the last thing now, which is capital. Capital is a factor of what? Production. How can you start producing goods without capital? How can you start? You cannot. You need the money, materials to start up what? Your production. So, capital, how can we define capital? We don't just mean money here. We don't just mean what? Money. Capital refers to money itself, natural resources, assets, and other things used in the production of goods and services. Everything which is there that will be used for production of goods and services. That is what we call what? Capital. So now there are two types of what? Capital. We have working capital and fixed capital. Working capital is simply the money. This refers to what? Money the business must have for it to meet day-to-day expenses. Day-to-day expenses. Just from the word working capital. It's the money the business needs for it to meet day-to-day expenses, like paying workers' salaries, buying raw materials, paying water or water bills, electricity, telephone bills, and so on. That is what we call working capital. The money that a business should have for it to meet day-to-day expenses. Then, what of fixed capital? Fixed capital refers to physical assets used in the production of goods, such as land, buildings, machinery, equipment, fixtures, and everything. As long as they are physical assets which are used in the production of goods and services, we refer that to as what? Fixed capital. Capital accumulation or formation. What is capital accumulation? Capital accumulation is simply the increase in the production of goods. Now look at this one. Economic growth is the increase in the country's productive capacity. Increase in the country's productive capacity. Now, what of capital accumulation? Is the increase in the production of goods in addition to what the country already has. That is capital accumulation. You increase the production of goods in addition to what the country already has. This is where the point is. So now, what are some of the factors which affect capital accumulation? Adding on new things to what the country already has. The first one is poverty. This is where people have nothing at all. You are lacking basic needs. How will you contribute to capital accumulation? You don't have food, you don't have shelter. Whenever you have a kamani, you buy a food. That's how it is. So poverty affects capital accumulation. Low incomes, you're getting a 500 kwacha, unga 250. Relishini zingatuko. Chani na budget si kwana. How can you contribute to capital accumulation? It's not easy. Then consumption habits. Good, yeah. Consumption habits. How do you eat? How do you consume your goods? The extended family system. People tend to maintain extended family system, tend to spend so much money or too much money on consumption itself. Just one day, 1 mil, 500 kwacha, even more. 500 kwacha. Can you contribute to capital accumulation? No. No future plans. Some people just think of what they'll eat today, not what they'll eat tomorrow. No future plans. Lack of knowledge to save. Lack of knowledge to save. Every time when they get paid, kumova, kuklap, chidira. After they finish the whole money, then they start working hard now. They work hard. Again, per month end, chidira. Again, they start working hard. They will never contribute to capital accumulation. Social status. People want to maintain their social status in society, what they are known for. No, but no, Mr. Gilbert. You can't be putting on that kachip trousers. Anyway, you want to maintain your status in the society. Thereby, you'll be buying expensive things. You are forgetting that you are not contributing to what? Capital accumulation in the country. Large quantities of imported finished goods. You always import. When will you start producing your own goods? When? These are the factors which affect capital accumulation. Master them.